What's up, y'all? We are back with another video. Yes, a very special video, highly requested, highly anticipated video. Today we are making oxtail. Yes, we are gonna make some good, delicious oxtail, baby, and I cannot wait. So make sure you are here for the ride. These oxtails have a lot of fat on them, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean them up. I have my gloves, my kitchen shears, and my trash bag. We're gonna clean them, season them, marinate them, and get to it. It's gonna be good, so trust me, you don't wanna miss it. Stay tuned for the ride. So we're just gonna take all this fat off of this oxtail because you do not want this in your oxtail. One thing about the fat, it brings a lot of oil. So you take off as much as possible. And you know what's crazy? They weigh it with the fat. So you're not really getting all the meat for real. But, you know, what can you do? So you just remove as much of the fat as possible, because when you're cooking your oxtail and you have a lot of fat on it, you're gonna see all that oil come up at the top. And yes, you can skim it off, but I find it much easier this way to just trim the fat as much as possible before I cook it, so you don't spend a lot of time skimming fat or oil off of your oxtail. It's always good to have a little trash bag so you can it can make the process so much easier. So you're just gonna go through, get as much fat off as you can, as humanly possible. And you do wanna look at this. Come on, look at all that fat. You know, so, and it's best to do these with kitchen shears if you have it. That's the best way to do this. So, look like I'm gonna be trimming for days, but hey, it's okay. And you don't want no fatty oxtail. Like, you don't want to bite into it and it's just a gunk of fat. You do not want that. So do this process. You can even do it if your oxtail are frozen. You can do it. Look at that. Fat, fat, fat. So you can do this when your oxtail are frozen. It doesn't really matter, but I highly recommend doing it before you start cooking your oxtail. Just you're not going to be able to get everything off, but as much as you can, as much as possible. Yeah, so you're going to be here for a little minute with these oxtail they gave me. My goodness. Where is the meat? So yeah, just get that off. You do not, that's the worst thing. I've been to a lot of restaurants and ordered oxtail, and I'm biting down into this, a gunk of fat. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why I rather cook these at home, because I know that they're well seasoned, well trimmed, well cleaned. You know what I mean? Yeah. So get as much off as you can. And if you can't, it's okay. But just be mindful of the cooking and the oil that you're gonna need to skim off. So make sure you don't forget that part, because you want gravy, you don't want oil. You want a nice thick gravy. You do not want you don't want oily gravy. You want a nice thick gravy, okay? So you may have to fight a little bit, but it's worth the fight. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. Okay, I finally finished trimming it. And look at all this fat. Like, look at all this fat. This is crazy. But I'm finally done, so now we're gonna go ahead and wash. Okay, now it's time to clean our oxtail. You see all of that? All of that has to go, and the water has to be clear. I know, oh, don't wash your meat, don't wash your meat. I don't care who say what. As for me and my house, we are gonna wash our meats. A first rinse. So I'm gonna pour all of this out. And don't worry, honey. This sink gets bleached down to the highest extent of bleaching and cleaning, and trust me, I don't even play like that. So that's the first rinse or whatever. Then I'm gonna add in some more water. And this is where I'm going to add some vinegar. You can add as much as you want. I just eyeball it. Okay. And the juice of some lime. You see how it's much clearer than the first wash? Got my lime, and I'm just gonna squeeze that in like so. And I just drop it in. You don't have to, but that's just how I do it. So that's good. So we're just gonna squeeze our lime. I know people say don't wash your meat, but baby, I cannot do it. I have to. I have to. I have to. All right. There we go. So it's gonna be in that vinegar and lime solution. And if you want to take it a step further, which I usually do, I add some salt. Because oxtail have like this film over it. I don't know what it is, but the salt helps with that. Okay, so you see all that gunk, all that film, all of that. That is why you need to wash this with lime, vinegar, and salt. Or whatever you choose, but you have to wash it with something. You can't just eat it just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this off. Just pour it off. And don't worry, like I said, this sink will be getting sanitized from the top to the bottom. See this film right here? That little greasy part? That's why I add the salt. So, give it another rinse. You see how it's nice and white? Yeah. That's how you want it to be. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. So I'm gonna give it about 2 more rinses, and then it should be good. Okay, so our meat is clean. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to season it now. This is the best part. So I'm gonna add in a little bit of oil. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm using olive oil, but of course you can use whatever you like. I always say that. So here we have our powdered seasonings. Right here we have some Greek seasoning, some oxtail and stew seasoning, all-purpose, some sazon, a little bit of black pepper, and some garlic, scallion, and allspice. So these are the only powdered seasonings that we'll be using. About that much. And then we have our aromatics over here. Some onion, scallion, scotch bonnet, and some thyme that I'm just gonna put in here. And remember, cooking is an art. There is no one way to do anything. It's yours. You can do it how you like. We have our garlic paste here. You can use fresh garlic, you can use minced garlic, but I'm gonna use this garlic paste because it's gonna give it tremendous flavor. Ooh, it smells so delicious. So I'm using about that much because I love garlic. I love garlic. So yeah, probably a little bit more, yes. Y'all, this smells so good. Oh my gosh. Go ahead and watch the video that I have on how to make the garlic paste. Trust me. All right, so to this, I added some browning, 1 tablespoon of browning, which is only burnt sugar. So, I mean, don't burn it to the point that it's bitter, but it's brown sugar. So if you cannot find brown sugar, get it in the pot with a little bit of oil and get it together. And I added the star of the show, green seasoning. Okay, and this is how it looked. You just massage everything in. Oh, it smells so good. When I tell you, you have to cook with love. Because if you don't cook with love, people could taste when you don't cook with love. When somebody cook with love, you just taste it all in the food. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. So we're going to put this to marinate overnight. And tomorrow, it's on and popping. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. All right, so now that your oil is hot, you're just gonna lay your oxtail in there. Let them get a little color. And this is called braising. So you're gonna braise your oxtail. All right, so make sure you check on them. Once they get to the desired color that you want, just flip them over. Do not let it burn. Just flip them over because remember, you just want a little color. And this method, you can also put some oil in the pot, add some brown sugar, and brown it that way. But because I use the browning, I'm not using brown sugar. Do not use both, because your oxtail is going to be way too dark if you use browning and brown sugar. So pick one or the other. Alright, so we're flipping them. Going to give them about a couple more minutes and then do the other batch. Now what I do, I cover it and let it sit, cook in its own juices for a few, maybe like 5 minutes or so. And then I'll show you what I do next. All right, so I've added all the liquid and this is gonna go nice and slow for about 2 hours. So give it time. You can pressure cook it, but I prefer to cook mine on the stove and let it go nice and slow. Yes, oxtail looking great. As you can see, the gravy is not oily. I didn't have to skim any oil off of it. So just follow those steps and you'll be good. So this is about after another 30 minutes. Looking so good. I told y'all low and slow is the key to delicious oxtail. Don't rush it. And we all love our oxtail, as we say, falling off the bone. But your meat should not be detached from the bone. It should be nice and tender. Okay, like so. So your bone shouldn't be one place and your meat in another place. So now I'm going to add the rest of the stuff because we're in the last stretch. So I'm just going to re-season my pot. I tasted it. I don't need any more salt.
or anything like that. But if you need more salt or whatever, go ahead and add it. I added one more Scotch bonnet. I love it spicy. And I added some more onion and scallion. Some people add carrots. You can add carrots to this if you like, but I'm not adding any carrots. I'm just adding this, what I added. I don't need any more salt, any more seasoning. This is good. So I'm gonna give this another 15 minutes and then come back.
All right, our oxtail is done. Like I told you, it should not be detached from the bone, but it should be tender enough to come right off the bone. So delicious. Okay, I'm gonna share some out. Ooh. So delicious. So good, so good. Look at the gravy. Ooh, yes. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.